Carson. This is Alan Cockrell with ABC, hitting and coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're going to take a look at your swing this morning, and I'm going to talk about a few things that I see in the swing. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about right now is just the setup position. You look balanced. You have good bend in both knees. You look to have both knees inside the feet, which again is a very good indicator of balance. Your head's over your belt buckle, which is, inside of your knees. The only thing that I see that I might want to try to maybe let you make an adjustment on is just the alignment of your feet. It looks as though your alignment is more towards the catcher as opposed to having those feet straight and more squared up towards home plate. That keeps our shoulders from turning in. It keeps our hips from turning too far in, which is going to cause them to want to open up a little bit too quickly. So I'd like to see you maintain the same balance, but get yourself a little bit more squared up to home plate as opposed to having your body, particularly your lower half, facing the catcher. Okay, run this through a couple of times. It's in slow motion. We'll talk a little bit about what I see. You have a little Sammy Sosa step back load, which is good. Okay, you do a good job of maintaining the balance, which is the good bend in the knees inside. I do see a couple things, and I think a lot of it has to do with just your alignment in your setup, getting yourself very closed off with your feet and your lower half. Okay, I'm just going to stop it right here. When we load, we want to load into this back leg, which you're doing. Okay, and then when the stride foot lands, we want to make sure that we have some other things in check. Okay, we want to have our hips square. Okay, we want to have our shoulders square, and we want to make sure our hands are shoulder height and somewhere over the back leg. Okay, the first thing that I see is a little bit open with this front hip, kind of coming out towards the shortstop or the third baseman. That's gonna make it difficult to handle pitches on the outer half of the plate. Will also make it difficult to handle curveballs or change-ups, and you're probably at the age now, the level of baseball, where you're starting to see some change-ups. And we need to be able to keep our hips square longer so that we can stay through the ball with our bat instead of having that front hip leak open, and that's just going to bring the bat to the pull side of the plate a little prematurely. Okay, the other thing that I see is the stride foot is when the stride foot lands, we want to try to keep this stride foot excuse me, we want to try to keep this stride foot at no more open than 50 or 45 degrees. And we can see here your stride foot is opening to 57 degrees. And again, I go back to your setup, and when you load, I think because your lower half is so closed off from the pitcher and the ball coming towards you that it causes you to want to open up prematurely. So the stride foot opens at 57, and that just sets off the chain reaction of the front hip wanting to leak out quickly. Okay, and then the front shoulder will want to leak out quickly. And so when we start our swing, everything is going to work out and around, and it's going to come into the hitting zone and then out of the hitting zone very quickly. We want length and extension. We want the barrel of our bat to stay in the hitting zone as long as possible. So that one thing in your setup, I believe, is something that's causing a chain reaction with your body that's going to make it tough to stay on pitches on the outer half of the plate. Okay, I'm going to run this forward and just we'll take a look at and see if I was right. Okay, see the hands and the knees start to work around the front side. You get to contact very well. At contact, I see that your head and your eyes are looking right down the barrel of the bat. I like that. I see that your hands are in a palm up, palm down position. That's a very strong position to be in. It's the only thing that I see that concerns me is the fact that when we finish off the swing, we're pulling the bat around our body instead of having good length here, good extension, and then a nice full finish with the swing, and we're just cutting it off just a little bit. So the biggest thing for me is, and I'll run it through a couple more times, you do a good job of finishing your swing and staying under balance, but see if you can see what I see here right there with that stride foot. It opens, and that causes the hips to open, that causes the front shoulder to open, and now just watch the path of the bat. Once we get to contact right here, look how quickly we finish our swing pulling our bat around our body. Okay, we want to try to keep our lower half in a position that's going to allow for the hands, once they get the contact here, now we want that bat to fully extend this way, and now it's going to finish with a nice full long arc, and that's just going to ensure that we've gotten maximum bat speed and extension through the hitting zone. Okay, so really, as we go forward to improve a little bit, most of the good hitters that I've ever been around are very very conscious of working off the tee and working off their swing off the tee. So the suggestion that I would make is the first thing is I would get myself squared up. I'd make sure that my feet are no longer pointing this way. My feet are pointing squared up to home plate. So when we get the stride foot down, we're going to keep this stride foot at more of this angle, which is about a 45-degree angle, and I think you were at 57, and that's just going to square up the hips. That's going to square up the shoulders. That's going to put the hands in a position to where now we can work on covering the outer half of the plate. Okay, so we're going to set a tee just about equal to, maybe slightly inside your stride foot. Okay, put a little ball on that tee, and we're going to set this tee up on the outer half or the outer third of home plate. We're going to work on getting to that good hitting position, squared up, feet are squared up, no more open than 45 degrees with the stride foot, hips are square, shoulders are square, hands are shoulder height, and now we're going to work on rotating through that ball and driving it hard to the right side of the cage, or through the second baseman if we're doing this drill on the field. Okay, and this is something when you can stay squared up on this ball and hit through this ball, you're going to feel the extension, you're going to feel the length, and it's going to improve you as a hitter, because all good hitters use the entire field. We don't just make ourselves one-dimensional and just use the pull side of the field. So this would be a really good drill for you, Carson, and I think it will help you a lot as you start to grow and mature as a hitter. Okay, but I want to thank you for coming to our camp, and best of luck.